Right, hello, basically I'm in the kitchen again because I'm doing another vlog which is going to be all to do with the cooking thing, because I did that the other day. Potatoes are on, we've established, well, I've established that now. I'll put the light on because it's a little bit dark here. I think basically it's a little bit dark outside, so basically I want it to be so you can see this, and hopefully you can actually see what I'm going to be cooking. All I'm basically going to be doing is showing you a very simple recipe, and I've said this before in the last one, I think when I did the cooking, and it's basically how to make Yorkshire pudding. Now, I don't know when I do this whether you'll be able to see basically what I am doing, because I need to obviously put this somewhere so that you can basically see what I'm doing, and this camera will go all over the place and that. And it's a very simple recipe. I've said this before, because a lot of people make Yorkshire pudding and they just basically do it wrong. I'm an Englishman, I know what I'm talking about, and traditionally, you know, and you don't need to overdo it. You don't need to create something that's going to be absolutely a load of rubbish. What you use for the cooking oil, the lard, the beef fat, whatever, I don't care. That doesn't matter to me, because, you know, it's not to me it just basically says you know, it's what you use for that. But 3 ingredients, you don't need any more than that. I don't think you do really. People do put herbs and mustard, whatever, powder or whatever in this Yorkshire pudding, and it just takes away the whole idea of the flavour. Because when you're eating your dinner, you can put salt or pepper or whatever you want on it in the end. So first of all, we need to get, and I'm making this for 3 people, me, my mum and dad, so basically the way I do it, I basically say, right, you're going to need 3 eggs. Well, I was going to say 3 eggs, but I only use 2. So simply break the eggs. I don't like breaking eggs because I'm always worried that basically I'm going to get shell in it. So what I'll do is I'll break the 2 eggs and then check, because no one likes to have shell in their dinner. I certainly don't, and I'm always worried that's going to happen. I've got a spoon. Now, what I normally do is I check, and I can say, right, there's no shell in it. And the next stage is, for me, I'm going to be using this wooden spoon to cook it with. Oh, the camera's decided to fall down on me. Oh, it's being a bit of a nightmare, but there you go. Right. So now, well, I don't really need to use this spoon. I suppose I can use this wooden spoon and basically just put flour in. Now, there should be enough flour in here. I'm sure, hopefully, you can see this. If not, I will have to obviously put it up there and that. In fact, I'm going to use all that flour. I'm not quite sure I'm going to need any more flour than that, so basically that should be enough. Although, should I need some more, we do have another bag of flour there. Simply just give it a stir a little bit. I don't necessarily do this because my attitude has always been that I just shove all the ingredients in and then start mixing. So simply grab your milk, because that's the next thing you're going to need, and it's plain flour. I've never heard of Yorkshire pudding with self-raising flour, but I'm sure that may be a substitute for something. So I'll just pour in a good slug, maybe to start with, and then what I will do is I'll put that over there because I need that out of the way. I'll just give it a mix, so just simply mix it. Oh God. Makes a bit of a mess here. Don't normally do this, but obviously it must be because I'm on the camera and I'm showing you like how to make Yorkshire pudding. So anyway, just give it one mix and that, and basically you don't want the mix to be too thick, but you don't want it to be too thin, because if it gets too thin it's going to end up being like a batter mix for pancakes that we have in this country. But do it like that and mix it in, and it will all form itself, and obviously if you feel that it's going to be, sometimes what I like to do, I like to be a bit of a show off, or as I like to say, and I'll stand here, and what I'll do is I move the bowl basically, and then what I do is I mix it. As I'm mixing it, I do this, and it goes really fast, like that, as if to say I'm getting all the lumps out of the thing. But basically the problem is that it rises. The mix will rise over the thing, and all of a sudden some of the mix will go over the bowl, and it'll be like all over the place there. So yeah, that's probably not a good idea to do anyway, but back to setting that there. So and that's so basically that's just simply what I'm doing. Give it a mix, you know, as fast as you want or as slow as you want, it doesn't matter, as long as you basically give it a good mix. Obviously if you feel that it's ready, then it's up to you what you do with it. You know, doing it like that, you know, I feel like that. And you add basically as much milk as you want to it until you've decided that it's the right consistency to leave it to rest. You should really leave it to rest for a good few hours before using it, basically. I don't know the why of that. I've never really studied that bit, but that's what basically you're supposed to do. I don't know why, but just do it anyway like that. And when it's all ready, you leave it to stand for a couple of hours usually, and then when you come to whack it in the oven, you will need now this is a thing that my American friends always say to me about, basically when you make Yorkshire pudding, or when I make them, I always have to explain about the tins. Now this is where I've come to give you an idea basically of what I'm talking about, because the size will vary depending on what you are basically doing as a whole. Right? Now there is a square tin in there, but I'm not going to be bothered to get it out because it's a drag. But basically, if you're making a Yorkshire pudding, you may well use one of these tins. It's a simple tin used for making pies. Put some oil into that, and then basically the oil, you need a little bit. You need to make sure that it's going to cover the whole tin, but don't overfill it with oil, because you know it's not needed. You only need probably a little bit of oil, so that, you know, and then what you do, you put that in there in the oven and then cook it. Basically heat it up for 5-10 minutes, you know, basically until it's nice and piping hot. And then what you normally do, you get your mix, and you just basically put it in there, and that evenly out, obviously, as you would do if you're making a cake, and then basically cook it. Or the two options you can also have, or you can get a tin. If you've got a big tin like this, that's going to be like, say, a big square one like that, you can basically do that as well. The same principle applies. Put the oil in it, so that the whole tin's got the oil pretty much all over, and then again whack it in the oven, and that will make a bigger Yorkshire. You can like sort of cut that into whatever you want when you do them. Most people though would use something like this. It's a tin as if you were going to make cakes or something, and basically this has got 12 in it. Again, you just put a little bit of oil in each one, and then you make little individual Yorkshires. But what we do in our family, we always use what we call these. They're a little bit bigger, almost as if you were going to make muffins or something like that. And they're brilliant size. I love this size, and they come out brilliant. I mean, I've made Yorkshires that have come, you know, they've risen quite well. You know, it doesn't matter whether they're wise or not to me, because as long as they're cooked and so on, I will eat them no matter what, with a nice bit of gravy, a bit of salt, you know, on my dinner. You know, a nice Yorkshire pudding with some mashed potatoes or roast potatoes and carrots and things. Oh, a man of my own heart, I have to say I love that meal, I love that idea. It's just one of my favourite foods of all time. And I absolutely adore Yorkshire pudding. I mean, I'm like an ambassador for Yorkshire pudding. You know, I went to America for 2 weeks and I couldn't get Yorkshire pudding because they don't have it over there and everything, and I'm like, I'm missing it. 2 weeks without a Yorkshire pudding is like, no. And usually in 2 weeks I have Yorkshire pudding every few weeks, but when I have it, it's like, it's just something amazing for me, because I absolutely love Yorkshire pudding. Not the frozen variety, because you can get frozen variety, but I don't believe in the frozen variety. I would eat them, but I don't believe in them because, you know, it's so simple to make a Yorkshire pudding batter mix and cook them in there in the oven, so you don't need it. But yeah, something like that, basically we do that and we put a bit of oil in it again. So I think I'm happy with my mix, as you can see. A very simple but effective mix. And whether you think it's lumpy or not, you might be looking at thinking there's little lumps in there, but if you're really that bothered about it, you could always sieve it, surely. I mean, if that's what you're bothered about, but something like that, I'm not really that bothered about. And I suppose that's about it, really. That's just a simple method of making a Yorkshire pudding batter mix, which I've done there. Hopefully, as you can see, it's nothing too chefy. It's just simple. It's easy to do. It's very nice when you eat it, and if you've never had it before, I suggest you basically try it. But I should really be showing you basically the outcome of this Yorkshire pudding, because what's the point of showing you how to make it and not seeing the outcome of it? But I don't know yet. So, but there might be some tips and things like that. I don't really think there is tips, but there is a couple of pointers to make, and that's people that might ask a few questions, and two of them, which I'm going to finish off with the answer to, is basically, what if, and let's say you're half an away at mixing all the Yorkshire pudding mix, and you put too much milk in it, and you go, oh damn it, I have put too much Yorkshire mix in it, and it's so thin that basically you want to rescue it. Well, the simple idea is basically you just add more flour. That's all you do. You just add more flour to it, and that's what you do. Because basically that's a good way of rescuing it, because a lot of times you're going to go, ooh, I need to basically rescue it. And another thing is, how do you stop Yorkshire going soggy? I mean, when you sort of like have a Yorkshire, you might notice that it could be crispy on the outside, and in the middle, basically you might think it's soggy, you know, or whatever. You put great. Come on. Let's not get stupid about this. But that's the whole point of a Yorkshire pudding. There's no point in having a Yorkshire pudding that's going to be like all hard and, you know, because it's soggy. That's the point of it, basically. Having it nice and crispy on the outside, and having it nice and you know, soggy in the middle. That's basically what it is. It might not seem like that. Some people might think soggy. Yeah, but that's what's going to happen, because it doesn't matter, because you're going to put gravy over it anyway if you have gravy with it, and therefore when you put gravy over it, what's going to happen? The Yorkshire can go soggy. I mean, that's the point. And plus, who wants a Yorkshire pudding that's going to be rock hard? And yeah, rock hard Yorkshire pudding. In fact, it's actually got bad memories for me, because my aunt, basically, in Scotland, years and years ago, basically, when I went to Scotland, I'm 32, so in case you're wondering, and it was years ago. I must have been probably about 10 or something like that. We used to go to Scotland and basically to visit some of the family, and my aunt basically used to do Yorkshire puddings, right? But sometimes what would happen is they wouldn't all get used, and a couple of days later she'd use them again, but they'd be rock hard, and they'd be so rock hard that you couldn't even put gravy over it to soften them. Oh my God, that is just like, it's a hell of a story, I'm telling you, and that's just something I don't want to see. Can you imagine that, having a Yorkshire pudding that you've cooked, and even if you're not using them, you say, right, we'll save them, we'll store them somewhere, but if they get so hard, you can't use them really, because it's like something you wouldn't be able to bite into. And what you do, and normally when you have something hard like that, you think, oh, can't we soften it? Because can't you put gravy over it, and the gravy might soften it a little bit, and then, no, couldn't rescue them Yorkshire puddings that day, so I think something went a little bit wrong, but there we go. So, that's it. That's how you make Yorkshire pudding, and hope you'll tune in to my videos soon, and well, more to come. Bye for now.